So good evening, good afternoon, whenever you see this, Mr. Arnold. I am here to present my attempt of a redesign of for the logo of the iconic Cartoon Network. Now, I don't know for you guys, I don't even know if you guys got these TV programs growing up, but Cartoon Network was always my favorite growing up. It was the home for shows for just fun kids, for weird kids, guys that enjoyed the more of fantasy, more of just actual fun. While obviously Nickelodeon and Disney Channel obviously had an animated programming, they were most popular for most of them they were popular for their sitcoms and live actions shows. But Cartoon Network was always for cartoons. That was always for animation. It was always where young kids would go to truly stretch their imagination. I feel like that despite this reputation for being the most imaginative and most creative of all the kids' channels, its logo, as you can even see compared to the other two, is the most dead. So Cartoon Network started off as an offshoot of the Turner Broadcasting Company, the one that's responsible for TNT. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. And it originally just started off more or less as a place where they could keep certain animated shows because they bought Hanna-Barbera, that is the company that produced Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones. So after buying it, they just wanted a channel where they could just do reruns of all of their old shows and episodes to make some extra money. So they now started Cartoon Network in 1986. After that, they now started the program called Hey Yeah Cartoons, where a bunch of new shows were pitched and were sent out and were developed. And for everybody knew, by the 90s, many incredible original shows and programming were created, and they are now what they are today. It's actually a very fun fact. Adventure Time was actually pitched to Nickelodeon. I don't know if you guys know the show Adventure Time. It was initially pitched to Nickelodeon, but Nickelodeon rejected it because they wanted to focus on their live action programming. Adventure Time now went on to run for 10 seasons. So yeah, that shows their identity as a home for animated programming more than any other kids channel. But like I said, the current logo is just not doing it. Even as I was growing up, I always found it weird that the logo was so straightforward, just CN, black and white. And while simplicity can be helpful, in this case, there needs to be a slightly more colorful, more creative logo to really reflect the nature of what Cartoon Network is. And so as a result, as a way to better reflect the brand, my goal was to modernize it. Nowadays, kids have more than enough places where they can obtain their entertainment, whether it be YouTube animation, Netflix kids programming. Even if they want, even by way of piracy, it's very easy for a lot of kids to obtain shows and movies, especially shows and movies that are above their years and their age. So as a result, they need to do better if they want to attract a new generation of children to their program. So that's also part of my goals. Similarly, nowadays, because of the nature of TV, a lot that are watching Cartoon Network will be much younger. And in order for them to attract much younger audiences, they have to sort of scale it back, make it a bit simpler, but also a bit more colorful and attractive. So these were my initial 10 thumbnails. Here are a few here. I started off wanting to make it look like a smile, as the idea was to have cartoon in a very creative font, while also having the network in a normal font within a TV. Eventually, the TV strip began to take form. I was really building on it. So these three and one of the last one here, and these two here make up my the three that I chose to rebuild and redesign to try and build a final design. And so when I went to Adobe Illustrator, I now came up with this as my initial rough draft. So you can see the idea of network is going to be inside a TV, while cartoon is outside in a much more cartoonish, much more playful font. So for my next few drafts, I now went to Ms. Bonnie, Mr. Jeff, and Beaver for feedback. So here's my first draft. So here, due to the help of Mr. Randall, I helped. I made two crucial changes. I made the network fonts same as the cartoon fonts because I realized that it was very pointless to have them as two different fonts. It looks more like a TV now, and I made an interesting effect with the O making the tune and the antenna, and also kind of make it look like eyes as well, just to make it more fun and creative. And a lot of people quite liked it. Miss Bonnie didn't quite like the fonts though, but she did make a point of the spacing between the letters, especially for the cartoon, was a bit too much unnecessary. And the proportions weren't really working out as they should. And so I kept it to that. And Beaver thought that it was demure. But she did say that it's not very marketable. Would you imagine putting this at the corner of a television while you're watching a show? It would be too distracting. What about putting on a shirt? So I kept notes of that while I was making. I think I made a mistake here. But effectively, his main thing here is that he said that he preferred the original logo for Cartoon Network, while also saying that he also suggested adding color to try and make it look more attractive to the new generation of children. And now I decided to simplify it, bring everything down for my second draft to make this. And I was very proud of this, But a key thing here that I realized, especially thanks to Ms. Bonnie, was that it's good, but nowadays TVs don't actually look like this. This is a very classic TV with the antenna and the box-like shape, and that doesn't really reflect how TVs are, especially how a lot of children are watching television. This is not how they are watching it. So I took very keen note of that when I started making the next few designs. For the next draft, I tried to simplify it a bit, but it didn't really work out. And everybody agreed that what I did before was better. But what Ms. Bonnie said was very, very crucial for me. So with my final draft, this is what I came out with. So the thought process was, obviously I made the strip of the TV look more like a flat screen TV at the center with the letters, and I tried to use a variety of colors. So I grabbed the attention of the child while they're watching it. It's a lot more stylized, it's a lot more colorful, it's a lot more fresh and new. Something that will be able to update the company for the future and bring in a new generation of young children to watch it. And I showed an idea of what it would look like. Whenever you're watching a television, depending on the channel that you're watching it on, you will usually see it at the corner right there. So this is something that works well at the corner of any show that you're watching, or could be put on a t-shirt, etc. So it shows that what I made is effective, is marketable, and is very usable, and can easily appeal to young children. So that's it. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Merry Christmas.